I have 2 meetings, a lunch, another phone call, and then the day will be over. Not terribly excited about it all. I'm not a big fan of meetings, but sometimes meetings are necessary. Maybe that's what we'll talk about. What is the absolutely critical, essential meeting criteria look like? What I'm going to talk about is professionals in meetings, people who control their own schedule and things they commit to. Maybe that's what I'm going to talk about. The dangerous thing about meetings is that they look like work, but they're not. Usually meetings are just about figuring out the work, and then somebody has to go do it after the meeting, and then you get together for another meeting, you figure out a little bit more, and then somebody has to go off and do it. The question is, when do you get all the work done? When you're younger, the answer might have been from 6 p.m. to midnight, but once you have a family, that kind of goes out the window. So when do you get the work done? I'm gonna go on a limb here and tell you my philosophy around when the work gets done. So here are my basic rules for how to get more work done. Number 1, stop networking. When I was in my 20s, I networked my butt off because I was brand new in the industry. I was trying to make connections. I was trying to get new business. When I was 32, I opened my own business. And since then, I've had to do 0 networking. The fact is, between my clients, people my clients know, the opportunities to meet with my clients, I have all the network I can handle. I don't need to go to chamber functions. I don't need to go to young professionals meetings. I don't need to go to social outings. There are 1,000,001 arguments why you should do those things. But the fact is, the work that I have to do is so important, it trumps all of that. So I stopped networking entirely. Rule number 2. Eat alone. Now there's a little bit of irony in this because I actually had lunch with a good friend of mine today. We had a great time catching up. But let me tell you, if you're having lunch with other people just to have lunch, I'm not talking about clients, that's work, right? But if you just invite people to lunch because you don't want to go eat by yourself, stop it. Like, you've got work to do. Eat lunch at your desk, eat lunch in your office, grab a granola bar, tell people that you're out to lunch, and just get some real work done. You realize lunch occupies this huge chunk of your day. It could be not just an hour, it could be an hour and a half, a 2-hour ordeal by the time you factor in having to stop, how long it takes. You don't have time for that mess. Number 3, start with a plan. This one's big for me. I don't do it every single day, and the days that I don't, I am not getting nearly as much work done as I could. If you start the day knowing exactly what you want to accomplish, exactly where you're going to set the bar in terms of the work that's going to get done, especially on days when you have a lot of appointments, like what are you going to do between the meetings? What are you going to do before? What are you going to do after? How are you going to use this 1 hour block of time if that's all you got during that day to get stuff done between meetings? If you don't have a plan for that time, it's totally and utterly wasted. Number 4, finish on time. This goes for everything, especially meetings. If you have a meeting that's supposed to go from 9 to 10 o'clock, get up and leave the room at 10 o'clock. Pretty soon, people will realize that you take time constraints very seriously, and if the agenda says we're gonna finish at 10, they're going to lose you at 10. I'm getting better at this. It's especially difficult with clients. I do think it's good to communicate to everybody at the start of the meeting. It's 9 o'clock, the agenda says we're going to 10 o'clock. I'm gonna get up and leave at 10:01, and I expect you to do the same thing because that's what we've carved out. And if somebody wants to object and go, whoa, 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 there's way too much on here for us to cover in just an hour, then you go, okay, well, is it okay if we push that back right now at 9 o'clock? Is it okay if we decide that we're gonna take the meeting to 10:15 or 10:30 or 10:45, whatever? This also goes for conference calls. Calls are notorious. You get on the phone, the person's talking, you don't have the visual cues to really know when to interrupt. So at the start of the phone call, it's okay to say, I have a hard out at 10 o'clock and I'm gonna have to hang up the phone at 10 o'clock or 9:40 or 9:50 or whatever the time is that you need to be off. Finishing on time is really about maintaining integrity around your commitments. This is what kills me. A lot of people overemphasize punctuality at the beginning and they totally miss the mark when it comes to finishing on time. It doesn't matter if you got there 5 minutes early if you finish 5 minutes late. Number 5, clear the decks. What I mean by this is there are going to be times, not often, not every single month, not every single week, whatever, but there are times when you're going to have to clear the decks. About 2 weeks ago, I told my executive assistant, we got to look out a few weeks and we got to clear everything, clear as many things off the calendar as possible. If it's not absolutely critical that I be there, that a client's counting on me, that I've already made a commitment, that I've already promised somebody I'd be at this board meeting or this committee meeting or whatever, let's move it. Move all that stuff out of the way and don't let anybody else on there. There is a lot of stuff that is not getting done these 2 weeks, but it has to be that way. There's a lot of meetings I'm not going to. There's a lot of phone calls I'm not going to be on. There's a lot of email that's going unanswered. But in order for me to get the really important work done, every once in a while, you just have to clear the decks. Those are my 5 rules. I think I said I was going to start with 3, but anyway, I hope that helps. See you guys tomorrow. Big freaking truck is hard to park.